Alright guys, welcome back to not LNL Entertainment, what am I on about? Welcome back, I'm Liquid Hotshot. Today we're back on the UFC career mode, and I have a couple of things to address whilst we're loading it. So, in the last episode, I messed up like twice, yeah? So, the first time, I pretty much recorded all the episodes, so the very first couple of fights, and the very first couple of fights in the Ultimate Fighter Championship, and then I didn't save the recording, so I was just like, okay, it's only 2 fights. So then I redid it and I commentated over it again for the second time on the next couple of matches, fights, sorry, and then on playback I realized that I didn't have commentary on, so everything that I had talked about in the video was void. So, I messed up big time there, but I wasn't doing it a third time, because if I was doing it the third time, I might as well restart the career because I've missed 4 fights. So I just uploaded it, and I went to Berlin, so that's why I haven't uploaded in about a week, because I've been extremely tired and just trying to get back into the works of things. Berlin was absolutely amazing. Like, honestly, if I could go again, I probably would. Like, there is so much to do, it's ridiculous, and I recommend for anyone who likes modern history, so like World War One, World War Two, in between, and the Cold War, definitely, make sure you go to Berlin sometime in your life. Because there are only certain things you can actually experience there, compared to other places around the world. Like I said, it's pretty good, and I'd like to thank you guys for all the support recently. In the past month of the time that I've returned, you guys have been killing it. I'm gonna get into some of the stuff I can only see, like in the analytics of my channel.
Alright, today we're gonna get not let him out.
Right, let me focus. Keep control by transitioning. Okay. Got tie.
Push it up. That's it. Break his balance. And fight. Pull his head. Finish strong now. 10 seconds. Come on, let's maintain this position. Come on, dig your underhooks. That's it. Clinch control. Pull down his head. Walk your hips in.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show you. Well, I can't show you. Well, I could show you guys the analytics. I could show you like a screenshot, but I'm just going to tell you guys. So in the past month, you guys have watched a total in minutes, yeah, over 600 minutes. So that is 10 hours. Like, that is ridiculous for me to see that. That honestly warms my heart. Like, I came back, I was expecting not many views, okay? Like, if I'm being real with you, not many views. In the last 28 days, so from late September to the 18th of October, I've had 636 minutes in watch time, and also 198 views with 18 likes and plus 2 subscribers. Like, honestly, that is mental for me to see that, and I would really appreciate if you guys could, share it with your family or your friends, my channel, as I'm back from Berlin, and the content should be coming in regularly. Also, this is, I commented saying, oh, this is going to be a full series, so this is going, so this is the final fight that we've got. And I'm going to go all the way to it until I retire with this. I've never done a full series on my channel. I just feel as though if I do, then maybe I might get, you know, some avid viewers if I have, you know, people who come back to my channel, you know, to watch the series, and then when the series finishes, if you know, if they like my content and like how I do stuff and things, then you know, maybe they'll continue watching some of my other videos. My aim really for this is to get this done in the next week. I'm off school now, but I am going to Scarborough on Tuesday until Thursday, so there'll be no video out going then. Also, I'll be doing revision because I got my mocks late November. Speaking of November, where I was going with what I was saying, I want this done in the next week because after a couple of days of getting back into school, so we get back on the 30th, and on the 3rd, World War II drops. So I want to do a campaign playthrough, and I don't want it to overlap with this. Like, I wouldn't mind if it was only a few episodes that you know, I'd have to overlap and still be doing this whilst I'm doing the COD. But then again, if I'm doing both of them at the same time, it gives variety in my channel. So that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking like first time, you know, first time campaign, and I will be, after my mocks finish in December, there will be a lot less content, let's just put it that way, on my channel, because I have I'm in year 11 now, so I have my exams in June. What am I on about? In June. Yeah, so I want to revise like more than a couple hours a day, and this should be over. There you go. Yeah, so I want to, where was I? Yeah, so after December, after Christmas, there will be, I'm going to try and get at least one video out a week, okay? So in like the hour breaks I have, like every day, I will try and, you know, edit a couple videos through that week and upload them whilst I'm, you know, whilst I am actually revising. But yeah, I'm excited for World War II. So I want to get this done, this heavyweight career as Cain Velasquez, and yeah. So I'm gonna talk a bit about Berlin now. So, you know, not a lot of people know what happened on like Eastern Front, and most people just know what happened on the Western Front because, you know, it's the Western Allies, and that's how we were brought up. If you were, you know, born in France, Italy, Spain, England, you know, America, and stuff like that. So, when the Soviets, let's just, you know, so the Soviets, so in 1941, the Germans launched Operation Barbarossa, which was the attack against the Soviet Union. The original plan was for Operation Sea Lion to work, which was the invasion of the UK. Like the land invasion, so, you know, hopping over the English Channel. If they had done that and took us out of the war, then America wasn't in the war by then, and then the Germans and the Italians would build up a massive army and go against Russia after everyone was out of the war. But when Hitler knew that it was virtually impossible to cross the English Channel because of the British naval fleet and the British naval superiority, they thought, you know, we have France, you know, we have Denmark, Norway, we own North Africa, we own Yugoslavia, which nowadays is like Serbia and Herzegovina, Bosnia and stuff like that. Those countries in the east, just to the north of Albania. Then they're like, oh yeah, we'll attack the Soviet Union. And for the first 8 months, it was insane. They were blitzkrieging all the way through, you know, Russian, Poland, Ukraine, and Belarus, and then into the heart of Russia. And they never made it to Moscow, but they made it to Stalingrad. And at Stalingrad, the German army got absolutely demolished. The men that weren't killed in Stalingrad were either surrendered, and morale was low in the Eastern Front because winter was settling in, and the German army had no winter supplies. So a bit like if you've heard about how Napoleon didn't have any winter clothes for his soldiers, Hitler thought it would have been done, you know, the Russians were going to be out of the war by Christmas, but there was problems with the army groups, which meant that wasn't the case. So then after the Battle of Stalingrad, that really turned the tide for the Russians. Their industry was booming, they could out-manufacture the Germans, and it was just a matter of time, you know, before they could out-supply the Germans, and you know, really drive it home, and, you know, get into the heart of the Third Reich, and actually cause some serious damage to Hitler's Nazi Germany. So, on that basis, the Battle of the Somme, so in World War I, the Battle of the Somme was in 1916, and the British on that used
And they disengaged from the clinch.
1600, sorry, artillery pieces. So, you know, for World War I, that was, you know, that was a ridiculous amount. And if you've ever heard of the Somme and how it was one of the most bloodiest battles of World War I, then that is part of the reason, because so many British soldiers died. It was like over 500,000 by the time Battle of the Somme finished, and also the amount of artillery shells that were used. So in 1945, when the Soviets were taking Berlin, they used 14,000 artillery shells. Okay, so that's almost 10 times the amount of the British against the Germans. You know, in the Battle of Somme, you know, 29 years ago at this point. Whilst the Soviets were bombarding Berlin with this amount of you know, artillery pieces, the Allies, primarily the RAF, were bombing the hell out of Berlin, and, you know, with insane superiority, because the you know, the Nazis didn't have any, their flak guns were getting torn to shreds, and you know, and they had nowhere and not hardly any people manning them. By the end of the war, in the Battle of Berlin, actually teenage girls and males from the Hitler Youth, and also Germany's, you know, girls, were operating these flak guns that were very, there was very few amounts of them left in Berlin. So after the war finished and the Germans capitulated at, you know, all-out surrender on both the Western dealings and the Soviet dealings, you know, the Allies' main priority was to get the infrastructure back in Berlin, you know, to get, you know, basic supplies to German citizens, so water and food. There was a problem with the water because the amount of unexploded artillery shells and bombs was ridiculous, and the Allies said, we are, you know, we're not going to
Locks up the Muay Thai clinch.
You know, we're not going to.
Excellent work here against the cage, staying busy.
We're not going to dig trenches, you know, for the water supply. If there's all of these unexploded bombs and artillery pieces. So, what instead of building trenches for them and building them underground, the British, the British, the Americans, and the Russians decide to build overhead water pipes that, you know, run like, so you know how you have your lights, so like your street lights, it was like that. So the pipes ran above the roads, and when I was in Berlin, I was told that 90% of the water pipes are now redundant, so, you know, not necessary for them to have, but they're a heritage of, you know, of Berlin now. So they've decided, you know, not to destroy them or get rid of them. But every couple of years, what the German government do is they recolor it. They recolor the pipes. So there was pink ones, green ones, blue ones, yellow ones, like all vibrant colors. Let's. Let's. All right. Yeah. So that was just.
Very nice kicks.
In my opinion, like that was really cool to see. Because it's not something you hear about, really.
And Joey, take a look at the striking accuracy for the Warrior, landing 68% of his total strikes. Now they're throwing down. Back and forth battle. Cain Velasquez is continuing to punish that rigid eye, and you can see that the swelling continues.
Oh my God! He got killed.
Cain Velasquez by knockout. Man.
Jeez, man. Look at this.
Let's check out the action on our fight.
It's like he wanted to wanted to marry me down on one knee. So that was a good win. Early second round knockout. So that gives us about 10,000 people. You know, increases our career damage, which is only natural, and we get about 1,200 evolution points. I think that's where I'm gonna end it for here today, guys. We've talked about Berlin. You know, I've thanked you guys for madly supporting the channel, and I really do appreciate it. And if you guys can continue to do that, and you know, like the videos and all sorts of things, I would, I would love that. And yeah, I would like to thank you guys for watching. If you have, please do make sure to like the video down below and comment. You know, other than UFC 2, this heavyweight series, what do you want? Do you want what? Speak. What sort of live streams do you want? You know, do you want some skits? You know, those can come our way. I'm re-downloading Black Ops 3. I might, you know, whilst doing this and doing the World War II campaign, I might try and get to rank 100 on multiplayer. So if you guys want to see that, some of my good games towards level 100, I'll stream and, you know, have, you know, an edited or few videos of my good games. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.